A woman has suffered a miscarriage after stress of conditions at the Manston migrant detention centre. We're going to read into this exclusive from The Independent, you guys. Let's go. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. This is REGANELITE here with an exclusive from The Independent with the headline that a woman has suffered miscarriage after stress of conditions at the Manston Migrant Detention Centre. The exclusive reveals that the judge has granted permission for the High Court hearing into a need for a public inquiry over overcrowding crisis at Manston. So with all the talk of continuously going on about immigration and asylum seekers that's been going on, this is absolutely terrible. That someone would lose their baby having a miscarriage simply because of the way because of the conditions that they are living in, the inhumane conditions that these people are living in. And we have to stress, these are people. These are not vermin. These are not animals. These aren't even insects. These are human beings just like you and I, and they're being treated differently because they've come from another country. They've come from a country where they've suffered from war, famine, or climate, whatever that may be. And the anger that people are having at these people is simply because they're choosing not to stop into the first safe country they need to. They don't need to stop at the first safe country they need to. They wanted to come to the UK and want to make a home for themselves here. They want to contribute to society, at least the vast majority of them. And we keep having this rhetoric, and I have to keep going on. I have to keep repeating this because people don't get this. People have this problem that we have too much immigration and migration. Go and do your research. We do not. We have one of the lowest intakes in the whole of Europe when it comes to immigration. The lowest, one of the lowest, and that's really important. I have to stress that. We really do. We don't have one of the highest. We have one of the lowest. Yeah. So please stop saying that we have too many immigrants or too many migrations here in this country, because we don't. And if you think we do, go and do some damn research before commenting and saying that we do, because that's absolutely not true whatsoever. What we have is people being stuck in these conditions, and rather than giving them an opportunity to go out and actually make some money for themselves, which, by the way, the Conservatives changed the law so they couldn't go out and make any money for themselves. We leave them stuffed up in hotels, barges, and these detention centres in inhumane conditions simply because of their different nationality or the colour of their skin. It's outrageous and it's pathetic. And this poor woman has suffered a miscarriage because of this as well. Where's the sympathy for them in any of this? None. So a pregnant mother suffered a miscarriage after she was separated from her husband and left to look after her 5 children in deplorable conditions at the Manston Detention Centre. High Court was heard. She was separated from her husband and she has 5 kids. What on earth is that? Details of the harrowing case were revealed as part of an application for a judicial review into the Home Secretary's refusal to have an inquiry into the overcrowding at the short-term holiday facility for asylum seekers. Some 10,600 individuals passed through the Kent Detention Centre between October and December 2022, the court heard. The former military base was emptied at the end of November last year, and it was revealed there was severe overcrowding at the site, with migrants sleeping on cardboard and one man dying of diphtheria. And a person died too. Died! It is now back in use and will probably be part of a plans to detain thousands of small boat migrants under the Illegal Migration Act. There is no such thing as illegal migration. It is a rhetoric. There is no such thing. 16 claimants who were held at the site have brought legal action against the Home Secretary, arguing that there should be an inquiry into the deplorable conditions and mistreatment suffered by thousands of detainees. The Mr. Justice Eyre gave permission on Tuesday for a full hearing to go ahead next spring into whether the government should be forced to carry out a public inquiry into the failings at Manston. What is this? It's inhumane. This is a migrant attempted to communicate with journalists is pinned against the fence by members of the staff before being taken out of view. They're being denied the right to speak their minds as well. They're trying to silence these people from speaking out. It's just deplorable. Absolutely deplorable. Representing the claimants, Laura Dumpskin-Sky, Casey told the court that an inquiry would investigate allegations of violence, gross overcrowding, spread of infectious disease and severe understaffing. She said that inquiry would be able to compel witnesses to testify and would ensure access to vital documents. Detailing the abuse suffered by migrants at Manston, she highlighted one of the cases of a migrant who presented to the medical team with symptoms of diphtheria, was given paracetamol and was then sent back to the crowded marquee. Angus McCullough Casey also highlights the story of one family where the father was separated at the Manston from his pregnant wife and 5 children, apparently punctually. The mother was left to look after the children by herself, and she went on to suffer a miscarriage, which she attributed to the acute stress, the court heard. The claimants argued that there were credible allegations of racist abuse and violent assault by guards against detainees, and of transmission of serious infectious diseases, and the unfolding crisis of illegality at Manston were known, and sanctions are at least tolerated at the highest level. Unaccompanied children as young as 14 were held at the site, and the longest someone was detained was 31 days, the court heard. On behalf of the Home Office, Neil Shandon Casey argued that an inquiry was not needed because an investigation had already been started by the Independent Chief Inspector of Borders and Immigration. In an unusual move, the then Home Secretary Suella Braverman decided in August this year not to renew the terms of the Chief Inspector, who will leave his post next March. The court heard that the process to recruit a new inspector began only at the end of November, and according to the internal Home Office advice, she would likely take 9 months, or to 2 years to complete. As a result, concerns were raised by the claimants about how this investigation would effective if there was no one to run it. Home Office lawyers told the court that if the role is not filled by next March, the alternative is not to leave the seat vacant. The alternative is likely to be a pro tem extension of his position. Mr. Sheldon added that there is no reason to anticipate an interim where everybody wonders what they are meant to be doing because there is no ICIBI. That's Chief Inspector. David Neal, the current Chief Inspector, had committed to smooth transition with his submission to the court, and it was argued that his men would be minded to stay in the position if needed. Shiro Zak, a public law solicitor at Duncan Lewis, which represents 6 of the claimants, has said, "This, the result of an improved step towards accountability and justice over the appalling events at Manston in late 2022. The claimants seek a thorough and effective investigation which ensures, among other objectives, that those responsible are identified and held to account. Lessons are learned and any reoccurrences prevented." Jem Pennington, partner at Wilson Solicitor, which represents 10 of the claimants, said that our clients welcome the court's decision but lament the delays in affording them the opportunity to seek answers for what went through. The Home Secretary should now do the decent thing and establish an inquiry on the proper footing with the powers it needs to get to the truth of what happened at Manston in 2022. This is another example, and here's the other thing, guys. How many of these do we not know about? How many cases do we know out there of immigrants and migrants, of asylum seekers out there who are being treated like this in inhumane conditions? You know, we've stopped talking about the barge. We're not hearing much about the barge now. How many of them there are being treated fairly? How many are being treated fairly in hotels? How many of them are being treated fairly in other places? These are the questions that we need to start asking ourselves. And I have to keep stressing this because some people don't get this. These are human beings, just like you and I. They're not prisoners. They're not criminals. They are asylum seekers and migrants, looking to come to this country to contribute. The vast majority of them are. There may be a small percentage may not, but the vast majority do. And these people want to be a part of of British society, and they need to be given the opportunity to have their case heard. And for them to be treated like this in any way is despicable, and it's inexcusable, and it's deplorable. If that was your child, if that was your brother, your sister, your partner treated like the way that these people are being treated, how would that make you feel? Put yourself in someone else's shoes and think about that, because that really does matter. So what do you guys make of this story? Woman suffering a miscarriage, the overcrowding at Manston Migrant Detention Centre. Are we hoping that they get a public inquiry into this? We'll have to keep an eye on this as this thing develops. But let me know what you guys honestly think down in the comments section below. Hit the like button, be greatly appreciated. Share this across social media and hit that bell notification icon so you'll be notified of when I upload another video. And if you want to financially support me, you can do so by buying me a coffee or joining me on Patreon. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope to catch you all very, very soon.